Who's thinking about buying football in June? Well, with the super early bird football promotion at WagerTalk and Sports Memo, we have a few reasons why. Early bird pricing for NFL and college football combo is $8.99, but using coupon code FOOTBALL100, you can take $100 off, dropping the price to $7.99. If you purchase by June 30th and use coupon code FOOTBALL100 to get your $100 discount, we'll also toss in an additional bonus. On July 4th, we'll take the highest scoring MLB game of the day and give you $10 for every run scored. Yes, so if July 4th, the highest scoring game is 10-9, you will get $190 in wager bucks to use how you choose. This super early bird $100 discount using Football 100 and wager bucks bonus expires on June 30th with no exceptions. So if you plan to bet football this year, this is the lowest price we will offer. So act fast and lock in your favorite football handicappers in both NFL and college football through the national championships and Super Bowl.
All right, it's Wager Talk today. I'm feeling a little better. Steve Merrill joining us. Teddy's still away this week, and you people out there, well, you're watching the best damn sports betting show ever. And that's just a fact. Steve, I have not shouted out Revenant this whole week, and I'm mad at myself. Dude is doing some heavy lifting in the chat room, constantly getting rid of the porn bots. So shout out to the Rev. Brother, I went 1-0 last night for my clients. How did you do?
Good night overall. Swept the board. Easy winner on the Phillies in baseball. What I'd like to call an easy winner on the Celtics, our 5% best bet. I mean, they led for over 47 plus minutes of the 48-minute game. Excuse me. But with that said, it got a little dicey for 41 seconds when the Warriors took the lead in the third quarter. Also hit the big game breakdown here with the Guardians. We'll go for our fourth straight big game breakdown winner here since I've been subbing this week here later in the show. But yeah, look, game 3, obviously a pivotal game, Prez, for the series. Celtics now up 2-1. I mentioned yesterday, I didn't think it made a lot of sense that the money line was minus 110 for the series when they had home court for 3 of the final 5. Biggest takeaway for me, advanced line now is Golden State's a 4-point dog. They're a bigger dog now in game 4 than last night, despite losing. I guess the reason maybe is because they didn't look too good in that loss. Curry also tweaked his foot/ankle late in the game. He did stay in the game. I'm not sure how that's affecting today. It's something we have to keep an eye on.
Yeah, well, what's your initial gut reaction? To me, it's take Golden State.
Yeah, look, Boston's my preferred side in this series. I've had them in every game. We had a strong 5%er on them last night. I was a little hesitant in game 2 because that was the bounce back spot for Golden State, obviously, after losing game 1. And that did bite me. Boston, of course, came out fast. They led early. They were only down by 2 at the half. The third quarter got them. But part of the logic there was that, look, if we missed that 4% play in game 2, I knew game 3 was going to be a 5% strong situation. So once again, big picture, long-term thinking. Another reason, I know we preach this all the time, but that's a perfect example of why you should have a direct subscription, a seasonal subscription, and not just pick and choose cappers. Because if someone jumped on game 2, they missed my 1 and 3 winners on the Celtics, right? I'm taking a big picture approach to this series. So it's tricky for me because I do think Boston's going to win the series, but you're right. I mean, off a bad performance, off a semi-blowout loss, historically Golden State would be the bounce back. That's why it's interesting to me that the line is higher because Golden State has been public in all 3 games. It's almost like the public has now jumped ship.
And the one thing interesting about basketball that really does, I mean, baseball, it does too, to a degree. And that is that the team shooting percentage,
Right.
The team shooting percentage over 100 games, let's just call it, 45%, 50%, whatever it is. When you go out and you lay an egg, the math tells you that the next game, you're going to get those shots to drop. And it's why in-game betting in the NBA is so interesting because teams go cold for 7-minute stretches and then every shot they take lands in the bucket. And that's ultimately why my gut reaction is Golden State in game 4. And I think the Celtics are going to win the series as well, but I got to think this is going to be 7 games. This is a veteran-led Golden State Warrior team. And I like that Steph tweaked his ankle. I think we'll get a better Steph with a tweaked ankle than without one. Here's what we got going. What do you go ahead?
Well, I was going to say real quick, and of course, Golden State doesn't even have to win game 4. They're getting +4, right? But be careful with that logic because of the last 48 NBA final games now, the point spread has only mattered in 2 of them. There's been 2 pushes, but a team has only won and covered twice the last 48 NBA finals, kind of like the Super Bowl. So once again, if you like Golden State, you're probably going to like them a little bit on the money line at plus money as well to win that game outright.
Yeah, Steve, here's what's going on. We got Dave Cokin joining us. He's going to talk Phillies and Brewers. I've been on the Phillies for my clients 2 days in a row. The first one, second one was easy. Nats and Marlins and Orioles and Royals. Then we got Ralph Michaels. He's got a baseball chart. He's going to look at top home and away starters by profit. That'll be fascinating. He's going to look at the Dodgers and Cubs game, and we're going to take apart the season win total for the Marshall College football team. We're going to end the show with Kyle Anthony. He's going to look at 3 different UFC fights that are going on this week. Shout out to my boys in the chat room, Brian, Angelo, Yossi, Gene, Gordon, John, Jesse, Telvi, UC, Fred, X. We love having you guys here, man. This is the best part of my day. Steve, I saw Top Gun 2 last night.
Ooh. Good as advertised?
Spectacular. Look,
wow. Everyone has said that.
Dude,
Everyone
it's
has told me that.
It's a bubblegum fluff movie. You know how it's going to end. It's totally predictable. I get it. The action sequences are great. The story is good. The drama was there. Top Gun 1 does not hold. I watched it 3 nights ago, and I literally this is just crap. How did I like this movie? I'm sitting there going, this movie is filmed in 1986. They're at war with who? Who are they at war with in 1986? What MiG would shoot down an F-14 in 1986 and not cause an international situation?
Right.
Top Gun 1 was idiotic. Top Gun 2 was spectacular. Dave Cokin joining us. Dave, you going to go see it? No. That's nice. Deep thoughts from Dave Cokin. No.
I made that minus 300, Prez. That was minus 300, and that was a steal.
That was a great intro. Ask me a question where you know the answer and then blow your nose. I like it.
Oh, dude. Dave, I needed to blow my nose for the last 5 minutes, man. Sorry it was on your intro. I've been sick all week, dude. It's just driving me nuts.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, you look good. I like that color on you. What's going on with you, Dave?
Well, it's going pretty well. I'm happy with the last couple of days. Perfect 5-0, and did something really smart. Once in a while, the brain cells work pretty well. The Phillies are a good team that was underperforming, and I thought the managerial change might be a shakeup that was a positive for them. So I decided to play them immediately out of the managerial change to Thompson. And if they won, just stay on them. Well, that's 5 in a row. A big pick on the units. And as I've mentioned on Twitter, anybody who's following me already has this information. Hopefully they're doing the same thing. I'm going to play them every day blind till they lose 2 straight. And this has happened before with me when I've played teams on coaching or manager changes. They go on big runs. This one's looking pretty good right now, and I'm on them again today as we break down.
So
go ahead.
So Dave, let's talk about that Philly Brewer game today, and then before we get into there, what are you going to do with the Angels?
Well, the Angels are a completely different situation. Not everyone's the same. I did not play the Angels. In fact, I was on the Red Sox in the first game under the new manager. And I didn't play it yesterday because the price was a little bit steep. But I don't want any part of the Angels right now. Now, there might be a point in time where, okay, they could get hot. But right now, no Ward, Trout's back out of the lineup. I don't know if he's going to be back today or not. No Rendon. Rengifo's been a valuable contributor this year. He's on paternity leave. The team's just in a... The Phillies were underperforming. The Angels are a train wreck. There's a big difference between the two.
Right.
So,
right.
while I thought the Phillies were worth jumping on for a potential hot streak, I don't feel that way about the Angels. And
so, Dave, we got the Phillies today playing against Burns, minus 162 for Milwaukee. Sounds like value on Philadelphia to me. What are you going to do in this specific game?
I'm just going to keep playing the Phillies till they lose 2 in a row. I don't care what the matchup is. I don't even look at it. Well, I won't say I didn't look at it, but it didn't matter. I'm playing the Phillies. The game itself, I think, is overpriced. Eflin is a solid guy. He's not as good as Burns, but he's not terrible by any means. The Brewers aren't hitting at all. And the Phillies' confidence level right now, wow. The last 3 wins in this stretch rallied from 6-2 down to tie it with a Bryce Harper grand slam, and then win it with a start 3-run walk-off. Come back from down 2-1 in the 9th inning against Josh Hader, who hadn't given up a run all season. And they hit 2 home runs to beat him, and then 10-0 last night. This is not a team you want to be laying a price against. So I think just from a value standpoint on its own today, I think the Phillies are worth a bet.
It'll be interesting to see what the Angels do with the new manager. Of course, they lost 1-0 last night. As you mentioned, the Phillies have been lights out with the new manager. Madden was out Tuesday. They lose 1-0 last night. And by the way, the word is the Angels won Showalter over the winter, and they kept Madden for one more season. Would have been interesting to see how that might have turned out, because it's obviously been working pretty well for the Mets. And this is the first number 1 draft pick ever to become a manager. Nevin, who will finish the season. Phil Nevin was drafted ahead of Derek Jeter in 92. So some interesting stuff there with the Angels. Dave, you and I will be talking more baseball here in about an hour and a half at 1:45 Eastern on MLB First Pitch here on WagerTalk TV. Be sure to check that out. You do very well first 5 inning plays. Give me something here in the Nats and Marlins today on a first 5 inning angle.
Well, Strasburg, I think, is damaged goods at this point. Now we'll find out, because this is his first start. But he's had a lot of injury issues. His velocity the last 2 seasons had dropped off noticeably. Remember when Strasburg was a really hard thrower? This guy could really bring it. His average fastball velocity the last 2 years is less than 92. So he's a shell of what he used to be. And you would figure he's on a pitch count today. I don't want him. I also don't particularly want Rodgers, who's having a really rough season. This is a bounce the wrong way. He has not pitched well for Miami. I think the first 5 over is the way to go in this game. So does the betting market. It's been bumped up. But that's the only way I can play. I have no faith that Strasburg can be even half what he used to be. Yeah. Rodgers is getting hit hard. It looks to me like the offenses have a good chance to do some scoring in this game.
Dave Cokin joining us, everyone. Dave, RJ Arsenault asks, and I'm going to ask both you and Steve this question because it's a good question. Is there a certain monthly ROI you try to hit? If so, what would be considered a solid ROI for 30 days? My answer is I don't know. Dates do not factor into my sports betting. There's no such thing as a day or a week or a month. I don't look at anything with an arbitrary number. However, when I started out in the industry and I needed to pay bills, then I needed to make a certain amount of money every single month. That's long past. So, RJ, I don't care I don't care about anything from a monthly perspective. What's it considered a solid ROI? Anything better than the marketplace at the end of the year. That's my answer. Dave, any thoughts to that question?
No, not really. It's
okay,
just a daily battle.
Steve.
My goal is to have a winning day every day. That's just the approach. How did I do today?
Yeah, fair enough. Steve?
Yeah, I mean, it gets back to what I talked about earlier, how, and I know all three of us, Dave, Prez, myself, we preach the long-term investment strategy. And here again, you got to see the forest from the trees, right? And a one day, one game, 3 games is just so inconsequential in the overall decades that we've been doing this. With that said, on average, I'd like to try to win maybe 9 out of 12 months, on average, because we're going to win every season. So that means you're going to have 3 losing months. And people think a losing week is bad. I mean, you're going to have a losing month occasionally. It just works that way. And
You're
if you return, yeah, I mean, over a 12-month rolling period, it could happen. No question about it. And that's another reason, like, you've just take calendar dates. It doesn't mean anything, like one random year, right? But say you try to double your bankroll every year, right? You're playing, say, 4% of play, right? That'd be 25 units won in a given calendar year. You'd have a 100% return on investment in 1 year, which is insanely good. And that still comes out to like 2 or 3 units a month won. And that's a 100% return for the year. And that's just 2 or 3 units won, which means that's like half a unit won a week. I mean, it's baby steps. And this was what drives me crazy. We swept last night. We picked up 9 units on the 2 best bets, but that's more than we need to win all year to have a 100% return. So, yeah, big picture is something that's very important that very few people get.
Dave? All I can tell you is this. This year, from January 1st to today, I'm plus 89.46 on every play I've released.
And that's return on investment, people. So that's almost a double.
Let me finish. And from the start of 2018, which is basically when I went full-time with WagerTalk, I don't have the exact number. I think it's about plus 360 units or plus 360%. So when the trolls come after me, let me finish. When the trolls come after me, oh, you've been bad lately for a week or two, I really don't give a shit, okay? Those who've been with me have won a lot of money, and we're going to continue to win a lot of money because I keep getting better at this. And that's the whole idea, is to keep getting better at this. There's always ways to improve. Never sit on your laurels. Sure. Never say, well, I've been doing it this way for 100 years. I'm going to keep doing it this way. I constantly make changes. And that's what you got to do to stay ahead of the curve.
Yeah, Dave, don't mean to be interrupting you, and especially you, dude. I mean to be interrupting Steve and other people, but you, no. Guys, I mean, the long and the short of it, everybody, is you got to put your money somewhere. You put it in a bank, you get nothing. You put it in, crypto, you're on a roller coaster. You put it in the markets, you're going to average somewhere around 9%. The only question is where is the most effective place to put your money? And, for Dave, Steve, myself, and a lot of the professional bettors, putting our money into sports betting is the best option. But ultimately, if the highest you can get is 9% on average in the stock market, and you can get 10% in sports betting, well, then 10% is what it is.
Dave, just real quick, if you started the year with a $10,000 bankroll, which is kind of what you should have, if you can do more, that's great. And I've always told people, if you're going to buy my picks, you probably should be playing $100 on a 1% play, $200 on a 2% play, $300 on a 3% play, etc.
Yep.
Never more than a nickel, okay? That'd be your biggest bet. If you've done that from January 1st to today, you're up. Your $10,000 bankroll is now $18,946. That's a good return. The third game today that I'll talk about is on the Orioles Kansas City game. Bubic did pitch well at his first start back from being demoted, but he's not good. Not that Jordan Lyles is, but he's the better pitcher here. The Orioles bullpen is fresher because they got rained out yesterday. The Orioles should be the favorite in this game, and I think there's some value in the Baltimore side. I played it full game. I'm usually a first 5 better. I did play full game because the Orioles bullpen is fresher, and it's a lot better anyway. So that might bite me because I don't do well handicapping bullpens, but I did go the full game. Orioles 3% play. It is a selection for me, and so I'll give you that one right here.
Dave Cokin, everyone. Dave, awesome stuff. Guys, we have a promo up for football, and I will tell you unequivocally, Dave Cokin is your choice for college football. I think you get $100 off. I don't remember the actual promo, but there's a promo going on, and
I was listening to it. It's a phenomenal promo. You're going to get Well, watch it again. I forget the date it's on, but the highest scoring game that day, you're going to get $10 a run in July 4th in wager bucks. So if the highest scoring game that day, and there's a lot of day games and it's summer times, which means there's going to be an explosion someplace. If there's a game that ends 12-9, you're going to get $210 in wager bucks back. That's
Wow.
phenomenal. Yeah.
Wow, head office is getting very creative, to say the least. Dave Cokin, everybody. Dave, thanks for joining us, my brother. We love you. We'll see you soon. Be well. Steve, I really, really enjoy having you on the show with me, man. If that implies anything towards Teddy, well, that's an implication you guys get to decide on. We'll take a quick break. We're right back with Ralph Michaels, Kyle Anthony, the daily presidential address, and of course, Steve Merrill's big game breakdown.
Who's thinking about buying football in June? Well, with the super early bird football promotion at WagerTalk and Sports Memo, we have a few reasons why. Early bird pricing for NFL and college football combo is $8.99. But using coupon code FOOTBALL100, you can take $100 off, dropping the price to $7.99. If you purchase by June 30th and use coupon code FOOTBALL100 to get your $100 discount, we'll also toss in an additional bonus. On July 4th, we'll take the highest scoring MLB game of the day and give you $10 for every run scored. Yes, so if July 4th, the highest scoring game is 10-9, you will get $190 in wager bucks to use how you choose. This super early bird $100 discount using Football 100 and wager bucks bonus expires on June 30th with no exceptions. So if you plan to bet football this year, this is the lowest price we will offer. So act fast and lock in your favorite football handicappers in both NFL and college football through the national championships and Super Bowl.
It is time for a little big game breakdown for Thursday night, June the 9th, right here on Wager Talk Today. Wager Talk TV, archived 24/7 when you can't watch us live at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, Monday through Friday. Steve Merrill once again filling in for Teddy Covers this week with the big game breakdown. And look, we'll try to keep the momentum going. Not only have we won 3 straight Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but by a combined score of 12-0. Let's go for our 4th straight winner, maybe our 4th straight shutout winner. Look, I was so tempted to play against the LA Angels that started it off for us on Monday with the winner here. The Angels have now lost 14 straight, but they made a manager change after Tuesday. They only won 0 yesterday. They've got Ohtani on the mound tonight. They're actually a slight favorite. Look, I'm not in a hurry to back a 14-game losing streak as a slight favorite, but I'm going to stay off that game. I'm going to look at the Atlanta Braves, a red-hot team. We've been fading cold teams, bad teams, but I also like to play on hot teams. And the Atlanta Braves are a team that underachieved for a good amount of this season. Heck, they underachieved for a good amount of last season. I don't think they had a winning record. What was it, till August last year, and they go on to win the World Series. Braves look like they're heating up at the right time, even a little bit earlier this year. They've entered this game now in excellent current form, and it's not just about wins and losses. It's about offensive momentum. Those of you who follow me closely know I talk about that a lot. Yes, the Braves have won 7 straight games, but they have put up 6 runs or more in 5 of those last 7 wins. They've had double-digit hits in 5 of those 7. They've had 8 hits or more in all 7, 9 hits or more in 6 of the 7. This team is smacking the ball, and they're taking on a Pittsburgh team, which is actually, I believe, overachieved this season. Pittsburgh was supposed to be the worst team in baseball all of last year. Coming into last season, they had the lowest season win total overall. They weren't supposed to be very good this year, but lo and behold, they're off to a respectable 24-30 start. They're just 11-13 on the road, and that's despite losing 3 of their last 5. I think that regression is starting to come. So we have a fade team in Pittsburgh, which, by the way, has scored 3 runs or less in all last 4 games in a row. They've had 6 hits or less in 3 of those last 4. So we got a cold team regressing against a red-hot team in the Braves that are due to play better. Now, the question is, how do we play it? Obviously, Atlanta's a pretty big favorite here for the reasons I mentioned. They're minus 260 on the money line. I'm not going to lay that kind of a price. I just don't recommend doing it long-term. I think you're much better off taking it down on the run line, minus 1.5. minus 135 range. You're basically cutting that juice in half. If you want, you can always put half a unit on the money line, half on the run line, minus 1.5. You make a minus 1 line. but you're going to have it at minus 170, minus 180 range. I think the best play here, Braves minus 1.5, minus 135. And as I've said with a lot of these teams that win by margin, more times than not, they win by 2 or more. They often win by 3 or more. So you could even play a little bit minus 2.5 plus money if you want to get a little more aggressive. But the Atlanta Braves are the play. Goes at 7:20 Eastern tonight on Thursday. Quick reminder, we swept the board last night on Wednesday. Big 5% winner in the NBA. Not too late to get the rest of the NBA Finals for free when you get my MLB season special. Normally it's $685. Discounted to $499. That gets you everything for the next 5 months through November's World Series for just $499, and you get the rest of the NBA Finals for free. Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com. Back to you, Prez.
Oh, you don't want to know what Kyle and I are talking about in the Slack channel.
Oh, but
I do. Nor am I going to tell you. That's just between the two of us. Ralph Michaels joining us. Ralph, man. How are you, my brother? How are you doing?
Hey, guys, doing great. I just want to clarify something on that special. You guys did a nice job recapping it. The code is football100. You can pick any capper you want. And let me just put something in perspective. 2 years ago at WagerTalk, if you wanted to buy college football for the season, it was $7.99. If you wanted to buy NFL for the season, it was $7.99. With this special, football's normally $9.99. The early bird price is $8.99. The super early bird price is $7.99. You're basically getting college football and the NFL for the same price that WagerTalk charged 2 years ago, and then the 4th of July bonus added on top of it.
Well explained, Ralph. We just got some breaking news. I have to go find it. Let's see. It's to do with the meet and greet. Where is it? I don't know. But where the meet and greet is happening, I'll check during the show. Ralph, we love having you on. Your boy was outstanding last week. It's got to make you so proud, man. I love these proud dad moments when things are coming together for your children. He's happy. He's happy working with us.
Yeah, he is. And, it's he writes a lot of content as well at Sports Memo and at Wager Talk. He does a daily K prop, which is an article daily at Wager Talk. So he's someone that's been in the business. I mean, normally when your son's 10 or 11, you don't come home on a Thursday and he's excited to fill out a football parlay ticket for the weekend. So those were our growing up experiences.
Hey, Ralph, real quick, Ralph, I got to jump in on that because, Prez, when you and I do our book, which is long overdue, and by the way, viewers, if you want me and Prez to do a sports betting book, leave some comments in the chat. Maybe that'll get us a little more motivated to follow through.
We've talked about doing we keep talking about doing a sports betting book. I even spoke to Ralph about it. Man, I don't understand guys like Elon Musk. Like, at some point when you're financially stable, how the hell do you find any bloody motivation to do anything?
Exactly right. Motivation. No, motivation's the key word. That's why we need the chat viewers, those bots. Maybe the bots will get us motivated. But Ralph, if we ever do that book, the story I was going to put in there about how I got into sports betting was so similar to what you just said. It was probably 3rd or 4th grade, so I was probably 9 or 10. My dad and his best friend at work would take the point spreads in the Washington Post. This is early 80s. As Prez knows, I was born in 1982, so I was 2 years old probably. They would take the daily point spreads there in the Washington Post, and they do $1 a game, and they would alternate picking every NFL game every week. And, it was not for the money, obviously. I don't think they ever collected one way or the other, but they had action on every game, and I just became intrigued by that. So then I started doing it with them as well. And I remember we had the yellow legal pad, and, every point spread, home away, point spread in the middle, and we'd circle the games. So that brings back fond memories, as you said that about you and your son. And that got me where I am today, 30 plus years ago.
I was in 7th grade and I was passing out the football tickets. Anyone that's old enough remembers the old little white football tickets, 3 for $5, 4 for $10, 5 for $20. You had to circle the numbers. I used to sell football pool tickets to my junior high school teachers. Times have changed with what kids can do with teachers nowadays.
Guys, we got to get going. Ralph, you got a chart for us? I hand the mic to you.
We won't spend much time on this. I did just post this on Twitter at CalSportsLV. You look at pitcher starter records and you put too much in the record, versus what the profit is for the pitchers. If you could show us this chart, I'm just going to look at a couple of the negative situations. On the left-hand side, you'll see the chart is overall year-to-date. On the right-hand side, on the top is home, on the bottom is the road. So if you look overall, the worst pitcher in baseball, profit-wise, is Julio Urias. He's 4-7 for the Dodgers. You would think that's not bad, but with an average line of minus 199, if you bet Urias every game, you are down 11.6 units. Same thing over if you look on the top chart in the red. Walker Buehler, he's 3-4 for the Dodgers at home. You wouldn't think that's horrible. Walker Buehler's average price at home, minus 251. So you are down 6.35 units betting him in just 7 games. So when you have that big chalk and you have pitchers that are struggling, especially at home, keep an eye on that. This chart, again, is posted now on Twitter at CalSportsLV.
Yeah, and Ralph, obviously just kind of a filter, something we use with the overall handicapping process, but every ballpark is slightly different. And some pitchers, fly ball pitchers versus ground ball pitchers. Obviously, the Rockies want to load up, with ground ball pitchers there. Carpenter, a guy for the Cardinals, Joe Ranieri and I have talked about this for the last 15 plus years. He's always been St. Louis. He's always been much better at home than on the road. So it's something to keep an eye on. And obviously, small samples like this, but you see like Frankie Monteros 1-8, that jumps out to you. And the average line has been minus favored. Those are games he should be winning, and he's still 1-8. Stuff like that jumps out at me. Any actionable info here for Thursday in Major League Baseball that we could take to the bank?
I did not break it down. I just wanted to do the chart more just to keep people apprised of looking when you're playing those favorites and finding those spots. I do have one MLB game, which is an actual client release that I want to share here. And it's the Dodgers and the White Sox under the total. Here's a Major League Baseball system. When you have a total of 8.5 or more, the starting pitcher has a whip of under 1.05. And the team is a good defensive team, averaging under a half an error per game. Those situations have gone under 77% of the time, 12 overs and 40 unders. We have the Dodgers, who are 18-9 to the under on the road this year. And when they're a small road favorite up to $1.50, a perfect 7-0 to the under. The White Sox 5-20 under at home against Southpaws. And then you look at Anderson, a 0.7 ERA his last 4 starts. And Cease, 2 runs or less, 8 of his 11 starts, and 1 run or less, 7 of his 11 starts. We have the getaway situation. The umps want to get out of town. Under 8.5, Dodgers and the White Sox, an actual client release.
Nice, Ralph. I love when guys come on the show and give out client releases. You do it. Adam Trigger does it. Way to go. Let's talk Marshall, man. College football right around the corner. You got a season win-loss bet for us. Talk to me.
Dan, if you could throw up Marshall's schedule, I want to quickly mention this. Up at WagerTalk this weekend, you will get my power rating teams for every college football team. You will get my projected overall wins for every college football team, my projected conference wins, and you will get this type of schedule for every college football team. Marshall opened up at 5.5 as an over-under. I did not get action in until it was 6. It's 6.5, and I still like it. You look at the projected wins of 7.82 on the top. You go down and you look at the situations. They're only going to be a true dog one time against Notre Dame, an 18.5-point dog. You'll see that's color-coded in red. They have a pick'em game against Appalachian State. Remember, they moved to the Sun Belt this year. And most importantly, while they're in the Sun Belt East, the stronger of the 2 divisions, they get the top 3 teams at home: Appalachian State, Georgia State, Coastal Carolina. So all these teams are traveling to face Marshall in Marshall for the first time ever as a new Sun Belt opponent. They're going to be a pick'em against Appalachian State, a favorite in every other game this season of 2.5 or more. I think this is my top season win total. Bet Marshall over 6.5. They have the best running back in the league in Ollie. They have 2 starting cornerbacks, including a 5th-year senior. They were first team and second team all conference. Their quarterback, yes, they did lose their quarterback in the transfer portal, but they have a 4-year quarterback who played 2 years at Utah State, 2 years at Texas Tech. This team will just be fine. They may very well win the Sun Belt in their first season, over 6.5. Marshall, my top season win total so far this season.
Yeah, and Ralph, it's funny. I've been digging into college football as well because friends of yours and mine and Prez, Mark Lawrence, has his playbook annual ready to hit the newsstands very soon, and I teamed up to do a college conference preview there along with WagerTalk. So I recommend everyone check that out. It'll be on the newsstands within the next couple of weeks. And, a lot of changes in the smaller conferences this year. Obviously, my neck of the woods, Old Dominion, a lot of James Madison, a lot of those teams hopping between Conference USA and Sun Belt. But, yeah, you look at Marshall, new coach, but they've won 9, 8, 7, and 7 the last few years. Of course, these regular season wins don't count bowl games. But still, real quick, I wanted to ask you, I don't know if you have the numbers, but maybe you can crunch them and do them next week, is how much do you think an additional half win is worth? I know Teddy says in the NFL season totals, I forget, those half wins are worth 60, 70 cents maybe. You talk about 6.5. Obviously, it's just 12 games. Some sports books will have 6.5 juiced. They'll have 7.5 juiced the other way heavy. Any thoughts, just ballpark, what you think a season half win or win would be worth in college football? It's obviously a very critical half point.
To me, I have 50 cents in my mind as 50? I move up the season win totals. And you look at the projections. All of these numbers. You'll see that a 4.5 point favorite in college football wins 63% of the time. So that's what the projected is. The projected isn't what I think will win. The projected is taking the computer's breakdown team by team. I'm just going to give you one quick example. One thing I want to mention about Marshall, too. Of their 6 losses last year, 4 were a touchdown or less. When you have a team like that lost a lot of close games, in 5 of their regular season losses, they were minus 9 turnovers. Those are the 2 situations right there. Losing close games and now coming back for another year. Losing the turnover battle, normally you come back to the median, so you don't have those same disadvantages. All of those add up to this. I expected Marshall to be closer to 8, and I still would have leaned with the over. That's how much value I still think we have in this situation.
Hey, Robert Delio writes, Ralph Michaels is looking healthy. Keep it up, Ralph. And I agree, man. How's the journey been going?
Oh, doing good. Actually, I've been doing some keto. So on and off, but,
nice.
It's been working and trying to keep off those Miller Lights and just keep working at it. So need my fat ass to keep losing it. So we'll work on that.
Well, speaking of healthy, this show is basically 4 old guys and a stud. It's time for the stud. Ralph, we love you, man. Kyle Anthony, I want to do a whole show on divorced life with Kyle. That's what I want. I mean, I'm on your Twitter. You're sitting by the pool. You're drinking this. You're drinking that. There was a picture of 3 blonde girls fanning you, 1 brunette feeding you grapes. What? I want to be Kyle Anthony. Nothing?
No.
Okay. How about now, dude?
Yeah.
Flex Thursday. Flex Thursday.
Hey, it's always a flex day when Kyle Anthony is on. Brother, we got UFC coming. Firstly, you got some news. What's going on? Something big just happened for you?
What do you mean?
No.
Oh, well, one, I'll be appearing on the UFC show, their UFC on the Line show in July a couple times. So I had a producer from UFC reach out to me, and I'm going to be doing some. I got some things planned.
Nice. Johnny Detroit writes 75% of the females who come to the meet and greet will be there for Kyle. I'm curious who the other 25% will be there.
The other
for.
5% will be in the wrong place. There we go.
Yeah. Oh, Steve Merrill with the white
Prez
background so you can barely see him because he just blends right in.
We've been over
Yuri,
this. I'm extremely tan.
I know, Steve. Kyle, can you see how tan Steve is?
Here we go again.
Yes.
Ring light's coming off.
Wait, what?
Got to take the ring light off. See? It's all lighting, man.
Oh, you look good.
Kyle,
you look good.
Kyle, the meet and greet
Canadians get
is
jealous of our
August
tans, Kyle. They get
20th.
very
We're gonna
jealous
have
of the sun.
Steve.
President's
Meet
gonna
and
be
greet.
there or what?
Meet and greet is August 20th, everybody. We're going to have discounted hotel rooms. We're going to have seminars going on. We got a golf day organized. Kyle Anthony will be signing autographs. Make sure to come down to the meet and greet, please. And Kyle, you better be there, man.
I'm gonna listen. Last time I screwed up. I went to Punta Cana for a week instead. I had mixed up my stuff. Sorry.
Yeah, you just wanted to say Punta. Yuri, a pro Jizaka, whatever, minus 210 against Glover Teixeira, plus 170. Every time you count Glover out, he wins. What do we do in this fight?
Well, this is definitely an interesting one because, I mean, that, like you're saying, most people are counting this guy out. They're thinking that, hey, he doesn't have it. He's the champ, but does he have it? Yuri is another guy that things are just so different with this guy because he was over at Ryzen for, years, and he was asked to come to the UFC a couple of years ago, and he said, I'm going to wait until I get to the UFC, and then I want to start getting for a title. He's got 28 wins, 25 by knockout. Since he's been in the UFC, he's got 2 knockout wins over Vulcan and Reyes. 2 big wins by him here, but the biggest question on this fight is really going to be the chin of Glover. I mean, can his chin take the big shots? And we've seen him rocked, but like you say, somehow he ends up level changing, and all of a sudden he's on top. Against Thiago Santos, he was rocked, and then he ended up getting in top control. So it's just kind of insane, kind of how the way he's kind of working that. But the biggest success part for Yuri is how unorthodox he is, the angles at which he throws his strikes. He's very, I wouldn't say showboating, but he's very, kind of creative with his strikes. And the ranginess and power together is very, very difficult for anybody to really kind of cut distance with. A lot of them, like Vulcan, weren't able to really kind of find that range. They kept them out of rhythm. But when you're looking at really this fight here, I think the biggest part of it, not only just as Glover's chin, is the style at which Yuri fights. And his style is really going to be a forward pressure kind of style. And I think that's kind of the landscape that works very well for Glover. He wants a guy that's looking to cut distance. He doesn't want to be chasing this guy around. He wants to be able to kind of work from a clinching position. And as he's pushing forward, a lot of times Yuri, what he does, he throws pretty wild. He's a pretty wild kind of fighter when he gets in tight. But if he lands the big shot, that's kind of the end of it. But also, if you're adding in the fact that Yuri has been taken down by lesser opponents. Even a guy like Dominic Reyes took him down, and Reyes has 0 credentials compared to somebody like Glover, and that to me already opens something up. And if you add in the next layer is how Yuri is getting up, and a lot of these things you're not going to see in stats, you're not going to see in, everybody's talking about stats and this, that's great, but in MMA, I think there's a lot other things you need to dig into in order to be successful at it, and it's how Yuri gets up. Yuri gets up with his back. Almost every time he pushes strong, and then he gives up his back. And that has been the bread and butter for Glover to find success, sink in the choke. So that all of those things there, mixing in the fact that Glover has the cardio to keep fueling these takedowns, there's a lot to like about Glover here. He's been cashing as a dog multiple times. I like Glover here at plus 170. I think the value is fantastic. This is actually one of my client plays for this weekend. I think he's got a great opportunity to go out there and get this win. And I wouldn't take the method of victory just because I'm happy with this plus 170.
Yeah, and Kyle, you mentioned Santos there in the analysis, and obviously he's a pretty big dog against Shevchenko at minus 700 plus 450. Sometimes you're better off looking for alternative ways to play those type of fights. Anything jump out to you in that one?
Yeah, I mean, this one here, I mean, this is not a hot take or anything, but Valentina Shevchenko is really, really good. World champion kickboxer. She's dominated, in the UFC, basically, 8 straight wins. And since 2017 was her last loss, which is against Amanda Nunes. So there's a lot to like really about her. But on the other side, I think the one thing that we're kind of, people kind of get away with Santos is the fact that she is very physical. She's a very physical girl. She's big for the division. She's strong. And there's not many, fighters that can really match Valentina and kind of the way that she grapples and gets on somebody. This is somebody where Santos, although Santos has had probably the easiest path to a title fight, I mean, beating, Joanne Wood, Roxanne Modafferi, Jillian Robertson, Molly McCann. These are not top names, but it could be maybe she couldn't book those fights, whatever it is. She has a physicality to her. That's going to be a big part of it. And also, if you add in the fact that one of the vulnerabilities for Santos is a check left hook. And that's really a shot that Valentina throws. She's very good at it. She counters with it extremely well. And the movement also has been something that Santos has struggled with. Santos loves to dig in. She likes to set her feet, push forward, land big shots, throw heavy shots. I think that's really where the power is going to kind of keep Shevchenko at bay at a point. She's kind of that kind of fighter where she does not care what the fans think. I mean, she's always out there and she's doing her thing, but if she kind of goes with the flow of the fight. And that's where I think this fight has legs to it. I think it could go further into the rounds. And I think this is a spot where you're getting off the big number of the minus 700. And I like Valentina plus 100 to plus 110, depending where you're shopping it, via points. I think that's a great spot. I think Santos lasts. I actually think Santos is going to have some spots where the crowd's getting into it, where she's throwing some big shots. So I think that via decision is the spot in that and getting off the big number.
Yeah. Steve Merrill. Kyle's talking his two favorite topics, females and fighting. In all seriousness, Steve, you've been on the show many times. How freaking knowledgeable is this dude? Kyle, Kyle, no joke. You are unbelievable on these videos. Guys, if you haven't seen Kyle's sit alone video, and I say sit alone because he's sitting and he does it alone on the UFC preview, make sure to check that out. Steve, you're gonna want to bet this guy. I listen to him. I want to bet this guy.
Kyle, it's almost like Kyle, you almost should focus on UFC on WagerTalk or something and do some shows on the side like you talked about. This might be good for you.
Yeah, I should get into this. I should do this for a living.
You should get into this. You should take this more serious.
Hey, man, Steve.
But then I talk to Prez, and me and Prez we're talking like non-sports. So I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
exactly.
well, I don't want to
take it more serious.
I don't want to talk about sports. And Steve, Kyle has been a financial guy. He knows his financial investment strategies. I mean, the three of us, we could talk Bitcoin, commodities, inflation, interest rates. We could go all day.
Let's do that in Vegas, guys.
Hold your crypto.
Drew Martin too. Drew has a background.
Wait,
also, let's do a little side seminar.
Hold your crypto. Don't be scared. Everyone's very scared. The market.
Exactly.
This is the time to be buying. The funny part about it is that things are really, the groundwork is being laid, and then people are worried about the price. Worry about product, not price.
And that's how I feel about something like DraftKings. I think they're a great buy right now, like a great buy. So there you go. Listen, let's get real quick with Manel Cape minus 250 against Rogerio Bontorin.
All right, I'll do this one quick here. Cape is a minus 250 and Bontorin's a plus 195. To really get to all of this really here, Cape is explosive as it gets. I mean, the guy has come in, he's been knocking guys out, he's got explosive power, great striker, and Bontorin's this kind of herky-jerky, kind of awkward movement kind of style. But how do you really nullify a guy that has a lot of power and explosiveness? You got to grapple, you got to smother, you got to cut distance. And one thing that Bontorin has is he's got grappling. He's got a jiu-jitsu background. He's able to latch onto kicks, get opponents down to the ground, and he's got great top control as well too. And the vulnerability for Cape is that he really struggles getting off of his back once he's down. Now that's going to be hard for Bontorin to get him down, but once he gets him down there, he's very good at keeping you down there as well. Plus, Bontorin is 1-3 out of his last 4. He really should be 2-2. Last fight, he should be on a 2-fight winning streak right now. Last fight, he was absolutely robbed. So he should actually have, again, I think that's pushing this line a little bit further than it should be too. But I think this fight will be a lot closer than a line indicates. I like Bontorin here plus 95. I think is a great price. I think Cape should be probably minus 140 in this spot. So I think it's a lot of value on Bontorin.
Kyle Anthony, everyone. Steve, no daily presidential address. Kyle, you've got a 5% play up, right?
Yes, I do. 5% plays up right now out of the 19 UFC events in 13 of them. And yeah, I've got a 5% play over the last 15 months. I'm 10-4, so I don't really, I'm not really firing out a lot of 5% plays. Have one here, and I'm still number one at WagerTalk.
You're number one in my heart, Kyle. Get the hell out of here.
That's most important.
Steve, Brandon Katz always disagreeing with me. He says DraftKings is a terrible buy right now. They own 30% of the marketplace and blah, 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 blah. Dude never agrees with me, but let me quickly explain and then we got to run. Right now, we're in an environment where the gambling sites are entering marketplaces that are brand new. And if you have studied history, you understand that every one of these businesses are running as a lost leader. They are all paying too much to acquire customers. That is what happens at the start of all industries. Not all of these sports books are going to be around in 5 years' time. These guys are all playing chicken with each other. They are all overspending. They are all jacking the prices up. It is creating an immense advertising spend for them because they're competing against each other. And ultimately, they are trying to play chicken to see links and gives up and that's why, to me, DraftKings is a good buy because I don't see DraftKings going away, Steve. And I see them wasting money, spending badly for the next couple of years. But when push comes to shove, all those customers that they're overpaying now will get them their revenue back 3, 4, 5 years later. So I look at this as a big picture play. That's why I like DraftKings. Anything quick to add, and we got to call it a show.
Yeah, I'm not big on the individual stocks, obviously, so I'm kind of neutral on that, but I do think they'll be around. FanDuel will be around. But keep in mind, the other publicly traded sports books are MGM Caesars, and they're part of a big casino empire, right? So they're not going away either.
365.
But you're right. The smaller marketplace will be eaten up by all these big boys, and DraftKings is likely one of them.
Yeah. Guys, that's the show. Loved today. We'll see you all tomorrow. Steve, take us home.
Yeah, looking forward to the seminar in Vegas. It's not officially announced yet, but it's looking like third week of August, right? We'll get that when it's officially word, but that's looking pretty likely, minus 1,000 on the money line. So start making your plans, folks, to join us in late August in Vegas for the WagerTalk Meet and Greet Seminar Extraordinaire. I'm going to work on my tan. I'm already pretty golden. Prez doesn't believe me, but I can't wait to show it to him in person in late August. Great show, as always. We'll be back tomorrow on Friday, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, right here on WagerTalk TV. Don't forget, MLB First Pitch, 1:45 Eastern. Myself, Dave Cokin, Drew Martin. I'm also back at 4:15 Eastern today on NBA Tip-Off with Joe Ranieri, and I believe a little Rob Vino sighting there as well. Archive 24/7. Subscribe, like, and comment below. Thanks to Dave Cokin and Ralph Michaels, Kyle Anthony. I'm Steve Merrill. That's the Prez. We're back tomorrow, noon Eastern, Friday. Good luck today.
Who's thinking about buying football in June? Well, with the super early bird football promotion at WagerTalk and Sports Memo, we have a few reasons why. Early bird pricing for NFL and college football combo is $8.99. But using coupon code FOOTBALL100, you can take $100 off, dropping the price to $7.99. If you purchase by June 30th and use coupon code FOOTBALL100 to get your $100 discount, we'll also toss in an additional bonus. On July 4th, we'll take the highest scoring MLB game of the day and give you $10 for every run scored. Yes, so if July 4th, the highest scoring game is 10-9, you will get $190 in wager bucks to use how you choose. This super early bird $100 discount using Football 100 and wager bucks bonus expires on June 30th with no exceptions. So if you plan to bet football this year, this is the lowest price we will offer. So act fast and lock in your favorite football handicappers in both NFL and college football through the national championship.